In this video, I'm going to go over a couple tips and tricks when dealing with the integration between UPS WorldShip and Fishbowl. The tips that I'm going to go over are how to modify mappings. We'll talk about the email address mapping, how to deal with partial shipments, how to deal with orders with multiple cartons, how to get the correct ship service to come over from Fishbowl into WorldShip, different exports such as total cost or no cost, and finally batch importing. There's one warning that I want to give you at the very beginning, and that is in WorldShip on the reference tab, the reference 5 field. Do not ever modify anything that's in that or enter anything there. This is a key field used by the integration, and it will break if this is modified. Alright, let's talk about how to modify a mapping. In order to do that, go to Import Export, Create Edit Map, and you will see the mapping files that you have here. Let's go and modify the Fishbowl SO 2015 mapping file. So highlight it, click Edit. Here you will see the ODBC tables from our database on the left, the UPS WorldShip fields on the right, and the current mapping that has been set up down here at the bottom. Modifying or creating mappings does require some database knowledge. Alright, so in order to disconnect a current mapping, so let's say we don't want to pull the country from Fishbowl into UPS, we would find the mapping that pulls the country. Here it is. Highlight it down here. It'll show the ODBC table and the WorldShip field, and all you have to do is click disconnect. And then click OK. In order to add a mapping, we would need to go back into Edit, select the field from the ODBC table, select the WorldShip field, and then click Connect. So let's add the country back in. So if we go up to the country const table, choose abbreviation, go to Ship To and Country, click Connect, and we are good to go. There are two other aspects with editing a mapping that you may need to be aware of. First is the primary key. This is the key that you enter to pull up the information from the database into WorldShip. For example, the primary key is the Fishbowl SO number, as you can see here. The other aspect is the define foreign key relationships. For those of you that have database knowledge, this means creating links between different tables in the database. As you can see here, I am linking the sales order table to a table called the Ship Carton SO view, the ship table, address multi-line SO view, etc. These are required in order to pull that information from the table. So that finishes up the basics of how to modify a file. Select the table from the database and the WorldShip field and click Connect, and create any foreign key relationships that are needed. Let's talk about how to get the email address to pull in from Fishbowl into WorldShip. There's a mapping created for that already. It is called the Fishbowl ESO 2015. Let's go over into Fishbowl. Our order 50055 has the customer of Andrea Akers. If we look her up, she has an email address tied to her address. So let's go back into WorldShip. Type in the order number 50055, and you'll notice the email address is listed here in the email address field. If we were to import the same order with just the Fishbowl SO 2015 50055, you'll notice the email address does not pull in. So if you want the email address to pull in from Fishbowl into WorldShip, use the Fishbowl ESO mapping file that is provided. Now let's go over how to deal with partial shipments. A partial shipment is a shipment where part of the order has previously been shipped out and will show up in Fishbowl as you can see here, 50063-01. If we were to go into UPS and just type in and import the order number, 50063, we'll get this error message saying that says 2 records have been found for key value 50063. If we click OK, you'll notice that it imports 2 packages for us. This is problematic because it's pulling in previously shipped order as well as this new order. So we have created a mapping file to combat this situation and just pull in the shipment that you want to ship at this time. It is called the Fishbowl SO Shipnum 2015. Go to Import Export, keyed import, Fishbowl SO Shipnum 2015. You'll type in the capital S 50063-01, hit enter, and it will only pull in this one shipment, and then you can process it accordingly. So I recommend that you use this when shipping a partial shipment. Let's talk about how to deal with orders with multiple cartons. This order here has 3 cartons on it. In UPS, all of our mapping files that we've created in UPS work the same way when dealing with cartons. So if we pull in this order with our Fishbowl SO 2015, type 50055, you'll notice down here we have 1 of 3 cartons. We can scroll through each carton and see the weight and see a total cost here. Once you've checked all the weights and set everything the way you want it, you can go ahead and process the shipment. It'll export back to Fishbowl. We can pull it up, and there you see the tracking number and the cost for each carton. All the mapping files will work the same way, as long as you don't modify the reference 5 field, as previously talked about. Now let's talk about how to get the correct ship service over into WorldShip. If we import this order again, you'll notice that next day air is selected and we have the ship service of UPS ground selected here. The reason being is this mapping file is designed to look at the carrier field, as it always has been, and UPS looks for the service name such as next day air, ground in that field. So the first option is to create a carrier in the carrier module called ground. Click Save. Go to Shipping, choose Ground. Let's import that order again. And there we go. Ship service is selected correctly as ground. If you want to go off of the ship service field in Fishbowl, there's a little more advanced setup that has to be done. What you do is go into UPS WorldShip, import export, create edit map, choose our Fishbowl SO 2015 or the mapping file you want to modify. We will then look for the mapping between carrier name and shipment information service type. Right here. We will click disconnect. We will then go into the foreign key relationships and find the ship carrier ID to carrier ID and remove that relationship. We will stay in this field because we need to create another foreign key relationship. We need to choose ship and then look for UPS service ID. Then go here to UPS services. And select ID. Click Add Relationship. Click OK. We can now choose UPS services. Select description, highlight service type, click connect, click OK, and that is now connected. Alright, now we can go and import the order with that file. Keyed import, Fishbowl SO 2015 50055, and there we go. UPS service ground, UPS ground. The third way, if you only use one particular UPS service, you can actually set up a profile so that ground as the default when pulling in orders, when the carrier is not recognized by UPS. So what you can do is go to Tools, Create Edit Profile, go here to Next Day Error, choose ground, save it. We'll call it UPS 2.0. Click OK. Close the editor. Now let's pull in this order. Carriers will call it, so UPS isn't going to recognize it. You need to make sure you have the profile selected, UPS 2.0. Go to Keyed Import, 50052, and UPS ground is selected as the ship service by default. So you can choose one of those three options. Alright, there are multiple exports that you can use with Fishbowl. They can be found here in Import Export, Create Edit Map. You'll see Fishbowl Export No Cost, Fishbowl Export Total, and Fishbowl Export. Fishbowl Export is the default, and it exports the weight, cost, tracking number, everything that you need. If you don't want the cost to go back to Fishbowl, but you want the tracking number and weight, you would select Fishbowl Export No Cost. And then if you are adding shipping and handling or other charges in UPS WorldShip to the order, and you want that total cost of that plus the cost of shipping to go back to Fishbowl, you'll use the total export. There's one caveat with the Fishbowl Export Total, is that it really only works well with single carton orders. If you use it with a multi-carton order, it will send the total cost of the shipment back to each carton, thus doubling, tripling, quadrupling the cost on the sales order in Fishbowl. So that would require you to go back into the ship module and modify all but one of the cartons to have a zero cost on the carton, and that will work correctly. You can see more information about this on our wiki. Go to fishbowlinventory.com. Support, additional tools, UPS WorldShip, Fishbowl Export No Cost, and it'll give you a description here. The way that you choose which export file is being used is under Automatic Export, Export After Shipment Processing. You'll see Fishbowl Export is my default here. If we click More, I can choose one of the other two if needed. Finally, batch imports into WorldShip from Fishbowl. This only works for importing the orders into WorldShip and not processing and then exporting back. The way that you do this is go into Batch Import, choose Fishbowl Batch. You cannot select this checkbox here. Click Next. It's finding one record. And we can save. Then if we go back here to Home, History, Imported Shipments, we can then see the shipments that are imported here. The batch import does require that the carrier be UPS and that the order be packed. So if we go back in here and run that batch import again, it's going to say 2 records found. So then you can go to the history, pull up the imported shipment by going to Edit Reconcile, and then you can modify it and process it. There is an advanced option that requires some advanced setup, which I will not go over in this video, in order to allow you to run the batch import and process automatically after import, but you'll want to call into support at 1-800-774-7085 extension 3. With that, this concludes the UPS WorldShip Tips video.